clear. Can do, can do. This guy says the horse can do. If he says the horse can do, can do, can do. I can get that.
Hello racing fans, and welcome back to another edition of Handicapper's Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. I'm Mike Heads along with Drew Forster. We're going to go through the Saturday, September 20th races at Hastings, and we do have 7 races on tap. Yep. It's a good, excellent weekend again. We have 8 races tomorrow on the Sunday program. The 2 futurities, Jack and Sadie Diamond futurities, $100,000 each race, but that'll be tomorrow. But we do have 7 today, no stake, but we did have a pile of stakes last week.
Yeah, before we get into it, we're going to look back at our biggest day of the year. Last Sunday was Derby Day, and an absolute successful day. First race we're going to look at is for the older mares, the Delta Colleen going 1 1/8 miles. The 1 horses you see heading to the lead, Saturday Night Ride, followed closely by Touching Promise. They reeled off some pretty good fractions here, Mike.
They weren't brutal, but they weren't. They kind of got a.
The first one was pretty solid, and then
Let's see it coming out. Lockett sitting in the pocket. Madeira Park, the heavy favorite.
Lockett in the pocket.
3 wide. Lockett in the pocket. And then Wanda Woman, as usual, was far back. But Saturday Night Ride, 23 and 3 for 1 1/8 is very slow. And here comes Madeira Park making an early move into the stretch.
She looked sharp and got drug up there.
Yeah, she's gonna creep up here and kind of just not rating as well. She needs to be. She's better covered up. I know that. She's just a mare that seems to run a lot better when she's covered up. But used a little energy there to get up to lay second. They weren't going 48. Nothing brutally fast. But
for
still,
these kind of mares, that's reasonable.
That's reasonable, but still not rating and not relaxing like she usually does. Lockett is in the pocket. Lockett in the pocket, laying 4th.
She does get a very nice ride from young Keyshawn Balgobin here. He had a good day and highlighted by this race, of course. Madeira Park starts to make her move now.
That's a creep up on Saturday Night Ride. And here comes Lockett cruising up on the rail. Was the place to be this day. The rail was very good on the Saturday card. No, on the Sunday card, pardon me. And
but yeah, perfect ride. She comes right through up here on the rail, and
Wanda Woman following.
Yeah. And no really looking back here. She heads these horses and gets ahead of them, and then no looking back for Lockett. She runs a very strong race.
She draws away quickly. The last 1/8 of the mile was run very quickly, and she did it smartly. Here comes Wanda Woman up for second. Madeira Park, I'm sure she had to pack a lot of weight, Madeira Park, but just over racing a little bit early.
Yeah.
She'll be heard from in the ballerina. Don't worry when the big money's on the line. But congratulations to the Braithwaites,
Frank Barabee,
Ernie and Marlene, and the Garage family, and as they own Lockett, and of course you mentioned Frank Barabee and
young Keyshawn Balgobin.
Excellent ride.
Lockett. Yeah, that was a perfect ride. The next one we're going to look at is the SW Randall Plate.
This is a cool race.
Speaking of good rides, I thought Mario put this horse in a great spot.
And I told you the rail was good this day, and
he's number 4. He's the one to look to keep an eye on. Is the number 4. The horses kind of keep an eye on here. The 4, Mr. Bowling. The 2, Mysterious Soul, who ran a big race, and number 6, Wilo Cat, who always seems to run a big race.
There they go. Don't Mess with Kitten on the outside, and Commander went to the front, and Mysterious Soul scoots up the inside to hold the rail, and they weren't flying, but they weren't going slow. Title Contender got into a nice box seat in 4th there, and really no excuses for him on Sunday. But Mysterious Soul got the lead under Richard Hamill, and Commander seemed comfortable there. And Don't Mess with Kitten, and not in a very good spot out 3 deep. Tough trip for him.
In 23 and 1, like same as we mentioned with the mares, it's not crazy fractions, but it's not ideal.
That was a 2/5 faster, but it was still
It's not ideal.
We've seen lots of 22 and changes going 1 1/8 and they carry on.
Yeah.
But the second quarter was pretty comfortable. Mysterious Soul once again still on the rail, but there's still 3 across the track. They're battling.
Lots of pressure up front.
Even though they're going slower fraction, they slowed it down there. Still, there's competition.
There's pressure. You're looking horses in the eye.
It's not like when you're in the clear,
galloping on your own up there. I've always thought that makes such a difference. Is you can go slower and get pressure and fold, as opposed to going faster by yourself, and it's a lot easier.
A 47 and 1 with contention beside you is far quicker than a 47 and 1 when you're on your own.
Absolutely.
And here comes Mr. Bowling.
Here comes
the inside,
Mario.
The yellow saddlecloth and the familiar white and red checks of North American Thoroughbred Court. Scooting up the inside.
Yeah. Really Mysterious Soul comes off the rail a bit here. Mario takes
quite a bit.
Full advantage.
And Wilo Cat out deep. Title Contender, no excuse. But pretty much the race was won here. Mr. Bowling's going well at the head of the lane. Mysterious Soul did very well to hold second over Killing Me Smalls and Wilo Cat, who had dead aim on him. But Mr. Bowling gets the job done.
He loves Hastings Park, doesn't he?
He's 2 for 2 with Mario Gutierrez, and I'm sure maybe he will be back for the Mario for the
probably for the premiers. I would imagine
that would be the next race.
That would be the play.
But congratulations to the North American Thoroughbred Corp, Troy Taylor and Mario Gutierrez. As Mr. Bowling, he does
rolls down the lane.
Strikes right in the SW Randall plate. On to this. I stole Richard Yates's lines.
Yeah.
Okay, first of 7 on the Saturday program. Let's get right into it. 12 3-year-olds going 6.5 furlongs in the Saturday opener. I ended up on the 3-horse and all that it means. Had a brutal trip last time. It was 3 wide the whole race. That was no fun at all, and it just got beat. He's the boss at the 12-5 or 16 3-year-old level, I think. And he's drawn better. He's going to get the lead. And I just think it's his race. He's got to win. I put the 5 Tempest, who will go back in blinkers after a couple of tries without them in allowance company. Gets Richard Hamill. Certainly that won't hurt. And a big class drop as well. And I put the 1 Jordan's Quest. Not crazy about the fact that this horse has kind of fallen off of form and been running down in Emerald, and I don't know, just the last 3 races have been nowhere near as good as the first 3 for Jordan's Quest. So I like all that means. He's a cool horse. He's going to get the lead. 3-5-1.
I got the same horses. I put Tempest on top. He's just been running against such tougher horses. You know, he only got beat a length and a quarter from Remember to Breathe, who ran second in the Canadian Derby, came back and made good account of himself in the BC Derby. Last time he ran into Slice of Red, Aspen Getaway. You know, he's just been running against tougher horses. He's had some time off. He's had about 6 weeks off about 2 months off to get freshened up. He's got a couple works coming into this. 12-5 seems to suit him. Dino and Hamill do very well together. I like Tempest on top. I put Jordan's Quest in the 2nd spot. I couldn't decide between him and All That It Means. Probably should add All It Means. I couldn't decide. I ended up putting Jordan's Quest in the 2nd spot. Another one, got off to a great start on the year. Has fallen a bit off form, but was running against tougher horses, you know, Coffee Grinder and Off the Top. And the same one coming out of those kind of 3-year-old stakes caliber, dropping in for 12-5. I like that move. And I put All That It Means in the 3rd spot. As Mike mentioned,
he's going to get the lead.
He's going to get the lead.
He was 3 wide. Amadeo seems to hate to put horses on the lead for whatever reason.
Yeah, he's going to be tough.
The best every time he rides.
He did get beat from a horse coming out of the $4,000 level. That kind of scared me a little bit.
But that's the only thing I didn't like was the 3 wide. He's going to get the rail. He's just going to go.
But those are the 3. We have the same 3 horses.
They're the 3 contend.
5, 1, and 3 for me in the first. On the second, Fillies and Mares, 4,000 non-winners, a 3 Lifetime, going to mile 16th. Excuse me, I've landed on the 2. That's the Spirit of the John Snowbarn. Keyshawn Bell-Gobin, as we mentioned, really heating up lately. She suits this level. Got beat by Find Your Beach, who runs against Open Company this week. Got beat by a very tough Find Your Beach. I don't see anybody that tough in here for her to run against, so I got her on top. Put Rachel Run, a nice, absolutely crushed last time in the 4 non-2 category. Richard Hamill takes over for Ryan Pacheco, who was injured in the first race on BC Derby Day. Pretty nasty spill. He does have a cracked vertebrae.
He's all right. I mean, like he's
in the hospital. He's recovering well. He's doing well.
No paralysis anytime.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Like he's going to be fine. It's going to be a couple of months.
He said probably a couple months till he's back rolling around.
Unlucky because he was doing very well.
I know Ryan Pacheco had a
very
exactly. But all the best to Ryan Pacheco from here at Handicapper's Corner. And at the 3rd spot, I put Midday Moon, Mike Anderson, another one that goes from Ryan Pacheco to Amadeo Perez. Mike Anderson's got 2 in here. I think Rachel Run's probably the liver one. No mess, no disappointment getting Amadeo Perez in the attack for the other one. I put that one 3rd. I went 2, 1, and 4.
Yeah, I agree with the 2 horse. This is another one of them horses, for whatever reason, a lot of times races don't go long or aren't offered long, and this horse, I think this horse wants to go long.
Yeah.
This thing, probably what it wanted to do all along.
Great numbers
just
for the
because
distance.
Keeps running well sprinting, so they keep sprinting him and her. And I think she's live going long. The mare could run long, Spirit to Spare. I know she's kind of a speed filly, but she did carry her speed.
She won the Oaks, did she not?
And the finalities are very nice. So, especially at a distance of ground, I think she's going to blossom as they stretch out. I put the 1 horse Rachel Run. She showed that her mile and 16th is her best distance, and she's going to be awfully tough. Because if That's the Spirit doesn't take to the distance, which I think she will. But I could be wrong.
If there's
but
a chink in her armor, Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel Run's going to be the next one. I put the 3-horse Majestic Woman in for third. I didn't fancy the other two. They're kind of off form, 4 and 5. I went 2, 1, 3. On to the third race. I got some 12-5 horses going 6.5 furlongs. We're sprinting again. I love Lauren 500. He's a cool horse. He's going to get the lead in here. I don't see any speed in the race at all. He gets the front. Frank Fuentes is, he's got no title contenders and twist grips to run against this time. He gets the lead. Doesn't need to go 44 and change. I think he's going to take some beating. I put the 5-horse Hockley, who's continues to change barns, but I believe he's been in the Mike. Yeah, he was down there on the bottom, July 6th last year. He's been in the Mike Anderson barn before and performed well, so wouldn't be surprised to see this one do as good as he can against the balance of the field. And I put the 3 Brereton County with Amadeo Perez. Good run off the layoff for Robbie Anderson, so I put him in for third. But I really like Lauren 500. He's no worse. 1-5-3.
I don't know much to add. You mentioned Lord 500. Last time he ran for 16, he won by 6. Then he went in the Hall of Fame race, ran into title contender Twist Grips. No slouch run behind those two. Twist Grips come back around third in the mile off that race. And now he drops down to the 12-5 level. He is definitely the horse to beat in here. Hockley, as you mentioned, he keeps bouncing around from barn to barn, and that's because he's a live horse. People like this horse. He's an honest horse.
He roats, he sprints, he does everything.
He does everything you'd want, cool him in the second spot with Richard Hamill aboard. And third spot, Amadeo Perez on Brereton County, as you mentioned, making his second start for the layoff. That's not going to hurt him. 1, 5, and 3. I got the same 3 as Mike. On to the fourth, 3-year-olds allowance race. Going a mile on a tick. This is an interesting little race. I ran it on the 4 Goliath. I know it was a restricted stake, but I thought he ran a really good race against Wonderworld. Maybe kind of a horse coming into his own. Dino's horses are starting to run very well. Hamill is riding extremely well right now. I couldn't really decide between him and of the 3 I had, but I put Goliath on top. I put Mr. Candy in the second spot. I'm going to give him another try. Maybe just needed to run over the track. Came in here with a strong Woodbine form. Kind of flopped as a heavy favorite, but that was under the lights. Maybe during the day he'll be a little bit liver. I don't know. I'm just going to give him another shot for owner James Redicop. And in third spot, it's finally Friday. 1 allowance race, 2 back on the lead, going the lead the whole way. He could get the lead in here and maybe run away from under Keyshawn Bell-Gobin. Came back in the sales stake against Wonderworld and Goliath, and just faltered late after going some okay fractions. But I went 4, 3, and 5 in the fourth.
Yeah, I stayed away from Goliath. I thought last time was the time that he had to win, and he didn't. And
it looked like he did.
Like he got a 23, 46, 111. You're not going to get that today. So I just stayed away. I can see him winning. He's a horse that can win, but I just prefer the 1 Richter Red. I like this horse quite a bit today, actually. He had no pace to run at when it's finally Friday. Wired him going 6.5 furlongs. His races at a mile and 16th, he ran against Coffee Grinder both times, and there's no Coffee Grinders in here. I think he's a handier horse than his form shows. I'm going to give him another shot in this allowance company. I think he's good enough to win. 3 starts back. I know it's a while ago, but he did run the 4th behind Slice of Red and Aspen Getaway, and I just like this horse. I got to give him one more shot. It's finally Friday for me is probably the more logical horse handicapping wise, because I think he's going to get an easy lead. He will not have to work anywhere near as hard as he had to in the sales stake, in which he was brutalized on the head end. He had to succumb, and he did. He ended up running 5th, but I think the fractions will be a lot kinder. That kind of race will set him up for a good one too, especially if he gets a 47 and 4 or something opening half. It's supposed to be really dangerous. And I put the 3 Mr. Candy. I was between Mr. Candy or Goliath for third. I don't fancy either one of them, to be honest, in the race. I like 1 and 5 are my 2 horses. Then from a handicapping, then it really drops down to Mr. Candy, who will need to improve a lot. Went in front vantages last time. Not too sure what that's all about, but come back to work good. Maybe second time out he'll do better. But once again, with the high-profile connections, the price will be minimal, and that's why I'm kind of maybe telling you to stay away from him. I went 1, 5, and 3. On to the 5th race. This is for $4,000 fillies and mares going 6.5 furlongs. I ended up on the 6 horse, Madaya. I know she is shortening up to a sprint, but I like a couple of her route races against some slower fractions, and I think she's ready for a winning effort. Put Find Your Beach, the logical horse, in for second. This is the live horse, Find Your Beach. And I put the 3 horse Golden Ratio. Returns to a sprint after an unsuccessful try. Tracking horses going long. She's never been a good distance horse. 6.5's her gig. I went 6, 4, and 3.
I got the same top two. I flip-flopped them. I put Find Your Beach on top. That last race in 117, even though it was a conditional race, it was very impressive for this kind of field. And another one of those, and she's going to be tough to beat. I put Medaya in the second spot, as you mentioned. Another one that goes back to a sprint. She has won sprinting before. She got the leading rider, Amadeo Perez. Don't mind that at all. And I put Coach and Becky, a horse I always kind of keep an eye on. I don't mind Coach and Becky, and hasn't been really on form right now, but she's getting decent numbers to run against this field. And I needed somebody in the third spot. I think it's Medaya and Find Your Beach. It's between those two.
Quite a bit the best.
But I put Coach and Becky in the third spot for trainer Mike Anderson. 4, 6, and 7 for me in the fifth. On to the sixth, maiden special weight for 2-year-old boys, going 6.5 furlongs. Not a whole lot of form to go off here, a lot of first-time starters. I went with a horse who's had one race, got a good number for it, If We Knew Then. Great connections with Anita Bolton and Amadeo Perez. Not a bad third behind Lord Rosberg, who will be probably your favorite in the Jack Diamond Futurity. Good account of herself, his first race. I don't mind that. I think he'll move forward off that race, so I put him in the top spot. Bluegrass Angus, he'll be your favorite. He figures to be very tough in here. Just got caught by Merlot late last time. Another one that you'll see in the Jack Diamond Futurity for trainer Craig McPherson. I put him in the second spot. And Ms. Lean, Keyshawn Bell-Gobin. Milshawn.
I know it's Irish or Scotch or something. That's Irish.
I'll have some Scotch, thanks.
That's right. Bobby Hall's, actually, that's where we get our chocolate for the baskets. It's
called there we go.
Milshawn, that's how it's spelled. Yeah, it's
there we go. And thank you to them for providing our chocolate for our Winner Circle baskets.
That's not her name, Maureen Robinson.
But, okay, yeah. I got the connection now.
Now it's all coming together.
For Stuart and May Carmichael and Sylvie and Dave Gregory, Sylvie's having a very strong year. Keyshawn Bell-Gobin had some options in here. He lands on Milshawn. Yeah. 6, 1, and 2 for me in the sixth.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have a lot to add. I just went to Bluegrass Angus on top just because it has a little more speed maybe, but I can see the 6 if we knew then winning. Impressive debut run in the sales stake, and Milshawn. Sylvia Greger's had a great year with the 2-year-olds, and continues to. The horses are ready. They're running. Getting them ready to roll. And as you mentioned, Keyshawn had quite a few choices in here. And I think those are your 3 horses. Maybe one to throw in. The 4-horse Rosie's Notice. Those blinkers off. Was a little lost with the blinkers on. Was out wide the whole race. This horse is better than its that one race shows, and the works were far better going into the race. So I'd give one shout out to our good friend Lauren McDougall.
Yes, good friend of the Derby and the show. And as Mike would say, go down and have a look at the paddock. It's a 2-year-old race, lots of first-time starters. The other one that I would throw in to keep an eye on, number 7, This Is the Moment.
Another one.
Mike Anderson, Richard Hamill. Hamill had other options in here too, so that's one maybe to keep an eye on, not leave out. On to the 7th, 3-year-olds and up, claiming 5,000. Non-winner since, what's the date on this one?
Couple of months.
Couple of months, July, something, yeah. I landed on the 8. Did 3 pages of form here. I landed on the 8 here, Texas Buccaneer. It's mile 16th. He's been running, he ran against second to Tommy Danziger last 2 back, who's very tough at this level. He just won again last Sunday at this level. And then came back and wasn't quite himself, going a mile and 3/8. But a mile 16th is a really good distance for him. He's won 4 races at the distance. Keyshawn Bell-Gobin going very good, as is Mike Anderson. I put Texas Buccaneer. He's going to be a bit of a price. I put him on top. The second spot, I went with the 6, Captain Salt. Another one who was running high most of his career. This year he dropped down to the $5,000, $4,000 level and has been very salty. He just keeps racking up the wins at that level. Just won a similar field, beat a similar field last time. Amadeo Perez and Rob Gilker hitting 54% together. Don't leave him out. And the third spot, I went to Lucky Molly Minor. One just got beat sprinting behind Swiss Arrogant in a pretty quick time. Only got beat 3/4 of a length. Now he stretches out, and the last time he went long was back in June, and absolutely crushed the field, winning by 4.5. So I got Lucky Molly Minor in the third spot. 8, 6, and 5 for me.
Yeah, these aren't your most reliable horses. No. So there's a lot to look at.
Yeah, don't mortgage the farm.
There's a lot to look at in these races, and I'm going to handicap the 2-horse Doc Can Dance gets a good trip. I was really impressed, number 1, with the runner-up effort to Ruffy Joe last time. I know he was nowhere near Ruffy Joe at the end of the race, and someone has to run second in a race. But I just like the way the horse didn't break well, rushed up, got in contention, finished well in a very good time. And his best races last year were going long. His two distance races this year. One was in the slop. He lost to Texas Buccaneer, but it wasn't the place to be near the lead on the inside. And then on July 5th, he ran into Talkett's Charm, Super Steve. Way tougher horses. Tougher horses. I just think this is a good opportunity for him. Alex Marty seemed to suit him to a T. Dave Milburn can definitely strike with some long shots. There's not a lot of speed in the race. I think he maybe sit off the one, Bubba Fizz, get a good trip through a 24-48, and I think this horse can run on. I don't know. I'm going to give Doc and Dance a big shot. I agree with the 6-horse Captain Salt. This horse has been planted on the bottom all year long and doing well. And he's breezing through his conditions. He's already won 4 races this year. Probably win 5. He's a cool horse, and but he's limited in his ability, and he keeps winning down here at the bottom. But he's live in here. Those races for 4 don't count against him, so he's classed as a non-winner for this race. And I put the 3 Minstrel's Time in for 3rd. Just one of many that
he's another horse
with a chance with the right trip. Richard Rising too, and that's kind of why I ended up on him. I went 2, 6, and 3. Close out the Saturday program at Hastings. Next up on screen, be a quick look at the recap of our selections.
Mike is always the first.
I went to the 3, and all that it means. I went 3, 5, 1. I got a lot of 1, 3s, and a lot of blue.
Yeah, a lot of blue
and red balls on there. In the race number 2, I went to the 2. That's the Spirit 2, 1, 3. Race number 3, I went to the 1. Lorne 500 for our good buddy Rob Maben. 1, 5, and 3. I followed it up in race 4 with another 1, 5, and 3. Getting a little better price here, though, with Richter Red. 5th race went to the 6, Medaya over the 4 and 3. 6th race, number 1, Bluegrass Angus over the 6, If We Knew Then, and the 2, Milshon. And the 7th race went 2, 6, and 3 in a very good finale. But play lots of horses in the last leg of the late pick 4.
Never get beat by the all button.
No.
In the first race, I went to number 5, Tempest over the 1 and the 3. In the second, I'm with Mike on number 2. That's the Spirit over the 1 and the 4. Again with Mike in the third. The very cool number 1, Lorne 500 over the 5 and the 3. In the fourth, I went to the 4, Goliath over the 3 and the 5. In the fifth, I went to the 4, Find Your Beach over the 6 and the 7. In the sixth, I went to the 6, If We Knew Then over the 1 and the 2. And in the nightcap, the 7th, I went to number 8, Texas Buccaneer over the 6 and the 5.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in to Handicapper. Hopefully we've given you a little bit of insight. Hopefully get you making some winning wagers on the Saturday program. Once again, first post is at 150. And if you're out at the track, don't forget to
go down to the beer stands. Just look for one of these.
Get get all the picks on there, and more importantly, a nice 2-for-1 coupon for an entree rate here at the Derby Bar and Grill. Chef Andy will whip up a couple of nice meals for you, and you only got to pay for the one.
Absolutely.
That's kind of cool. But
a little more money to gamble with.
Yes. Racing resumes on Sunday. 2 free charities on the Sunday program.
Yeah, good card on Sunday.
Once again, a post. We're back to the 150 for quite a while. The early post, the normal 150 post for the rest of the season. On behalf of Drew, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time here at the Derby Bar and Grill.
I know it's Valentine's, the